standing by for the issuance of the launch command.
Start confirmed. Start confirmed.
The second umbilical tower is now separated. Inside 10 seconds to launch.
Preliminary. Intermediate.
And we had liftoff of the Soyuz rocket and the TMA-11M spacecraft on a truly Olympic leap, delivering 3 more crew members to the International Space Station on a historic mission to continue the seamless transition of humans on their own relay to continue studying science in space.
20 seconds. Jets firing.
Beautiful launch, already 45 seconds since liftoff.
40 seconds. Seconds.
Passing through the area of maximum dynamic pressure on the vehicle. 1 minute, 10 seconds into the flight. The velocity is already 1,100 miles per hour.
Seconds, right nominal. We copy loud and clear, and everything's fine on board. Everything is nominal. And we can copy loud and clear too. We can see you on camera, and everything is going on nominally. Actually, the launch was pretty smooth. Now we can feel some G-load, but we take it all right.
Standing by for escape tower jettison.
Here all nominal.
And jettison of the 4 strap-on boosters. These have completed their job. They've dropped away at an altitude of about 28 miles. The vehicle is now traveling 3,300 miles per hour.
.140 seconds, everything is nominal. Everything is great on board as well. We're monitoring.
Reporting the second stage engines are in great shape.
And the weather is...
And the shroud is now separated from the vehicle. The rocket's altitude is now about 48 statute miles.
Controlled descent.
3 minutes into the flight. Soyuz is traveling at about 4,700 miles per hour.
Can you see?
Inside,
we can see
3 crew members, Koichi Wakata. As you see, the onboard mascot with the crew members, one of the Olympic Winter Game mascots, a polar bear.
Здравствуйте. Следующий.
Ага.
Great.
Дорогие друзья, все души хочу пожелать вам Божьего благословения.
I'd like to wish you all possible blessings. Hope that God is with you, and so are all the saints.
Богом, ангелом.
Путями неизведанными, прошит метеоритами простор. Оправдан русский мужество,
До свидания. Thanks, Rob. You're the man. Terry.
ベンティレーションがあるから聞こえるそっち
髪がね少し短くなってますしとてもハンサムです
じゃあ今度はチェリーさんがたくさん話から変わります
Да, они деловые, они сами знают, найдут. Как же, он застеснялся, конечно, он начальство какое, смотри.
Laura's here too.
Yeah,
Oh no, I'm not. Here to I can take
Вот, сегодня такой.
Can you use all the gallery words?
Товарищ председатель Государственной комиссии, экипаж корабля «Союз» ТМА-11-7 к полету готов. Командир Юрий Михаил. Спасибо. Спасибо. С днем рождения. Поворачиваемся налево в автобус. Товарищ председатель Государственной комиссии.
President of the State Commission,
Стартовый пункт.
the crew of the Soyuz vehicle is ready for launch.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Bill Gerstenmaier, NASA's Associate Administrator for Space Operations. Bill, the year ends for launches here in Baikonur with one that is going to be tough to beat. Very spectacular liftoff. New crew headed for the station for a very, very complex few days and few months. So your thoughts today?
Again, just a tremendous job with the launch today. The weather was outstanding. The rocket looked great coming off the launch pad. I think every launch I see looks a little bit different. I see some new things. Things look different, but it just worked out tremendously smooth. And as you said, a tremendously busy time on orbit. You know, the docking here in just several hours, followed by hatch opening, and then the EVA the next day on Saturday, and then followed by the landing. So that, you know, that it looks easy, but you know, we went through all the reviews with the ground teams, and the preparation for this activity was just tremendous. To get all the understanding, to understand how things had to be, the beta angle, the angle of the sun with respect to space station was unique at this period of time, so they had to put solar arrays in the right place. Just a tremendous amount of work went in to make this thing look easy. So when we see this and we step back and we marvel and we say, oh, it's easy and it's routine, we need to step back and think about the hard work the teams put in for many, many months preparing for this activity to make it look the way it did today. But just an outstanding day today, a great start to this expedition.
Coming up on the 15th anniversary of the first Element launch for the International Space Station, research is rolling on board, just about fully assembled, a few components yet to be launched for the Russian side. How has this complex now matured and blossomed into what it is today in just 15 short years?
I mean, it's tremendously encouraging to me to see the amount of research is getting done. You know, this last several weeks, the crew has done more research hours than any crew in the past. So, again, we continue to surpass our expectations. We raised the bar a little bit higher. We asked the crew to do a little bit more. But the number of new investigations, the amount of research that's going on board station is just outstanding. So everything we talked about, everything we dreamed, all those hard work we put in place is starting to come to fruition. So again, I think we'll see it through this expedition. We'll see it really intense through this week, through the EVAs, the activities, and then the landing coming up. But then we'll get back into the research mode, and I think we'll see just another tremendous period on board station. So that the change from that beginning 15 years ago today is just absolutely phenomenal when I think about the change. And I can sit here as I look at you, and I can imagine each one of the configurations of the station as it was built out, each shuttle flight, the amount of EVAs we put in, the work we did with our Russian partners. It's amazing to think of all that today and see where we are today, almost 15 years later.
Mike Safradini, International Space Station Program Manager. Mike, I guess if human spaceflight was an Olympic contest, today's launch would merit a gold medal. Your thoughts as you saw this experienced crew take off with the Olympic torch for the International Space Station?
Well, there's many things that go through my mind during a launch, and of course the crew's safety is paramount among them. And so today is not really different than most days. When the engines cut off, I marvel at the capability of the Soyuz system and how it reliably gets our crews to orbit. And it takes that kind of capability, that kind of reliability, that kind of sustaining engineering that we do on throughout the entire program to not only get our crews to station back and forth safely, but also conduct the research we need to do on orbit to get the most out of the vehicle that we built.
You've got a 4-day ballet coming up for 9 crew members on station. How complicated is this, and how valuable is the experience of this crew to pull off this activity?
Well, it is, I'll say it's complicated, but it's well planned out. We're not taking any any additional risk in terms of things that we're not comfortable with. But it is a challenging period. It's we have 9 crew on board, and so you have to make sure you know where they're all at. Particularly during the EVA, we have to separate the crews some in different areas of the station, and so that plays a role. Also, we're at a higher beta, which plays roles in a big role in how we configure the vehicle, particularly solar arrays for docking and the EVA and for the undocking. We have to sleep shift the crew. So there's quite a few things we have to concern ourselves with, but it's all been planned by a team that's been doing this for 15 years now, and they're getting pretty good at it. But its difficulty belies what you see on the surface. It looks pretty easy when you watch it happen, but there's quite a bit of work going on to make it happen the way it does.
And finally, Mike, the choreography of this launch, of course, being moved up a few weeks, it was designed to bring the Olympic torch up to the station and back home within a few days. You were pretty eloquent before the State Commission in discussing how symbolic this activity was in relation and the correlation to the work that goes on every day aboard the station. Your thoughts about how the torch and the station fit hand in glove, basically?
Well, they do. I mean, the International Space Station is 15 countries got together to build and operate the most complicated project in human history. And so that's a pretty big deal. And of course, the Olympics themselves have been around since before the calendar we use today. And so it's the oldest event in human history. And tying those two together, I think, reminds us all, reminds the world what we can do when we put our minds to it for peaceful purposes. And to me, I marvel at that, because when we as humanity get together to accomplish an objective, there's nothing we cannot do. And this just shines light that the space station program itself is enriching our lives and making the world a more peaceful place to live.